Take your sweet time. There it is. There it is. Son of a gun, right down the middle of the road. There it is. There it is. Son of a gun, right down the middle of the road.
We have known that there's been a cover-up of what there is on the moon and inside our solar system. We know this. We know that there is extraterrestrial life. We know this. That is no longer the discussion. We know that the government has become corrupt. Okay? The people, the personages that rule the planet are not us. They are not human beings. And I will say this with my very last breath. They are not us. Okay? Now, what happened was that they took over because they think holographically. It was very easy to get around the pyramidal power structure on Earth because it's completely obsolete everywhere else out there. So if you come in using a holograph, using holographic technology, not technology, but thinking, what you do is you create your structure everywhere so no matter what happens, whether one group gets taken out, another group takes out, is gone, the other components are still there to rise up and still manage and control, because each of these components have a picture of the whole. And they have all the technology and everything they need to continue to control and dominate and brainwash. Okay? We're over our heads here, but we're not alone. Now, what happened was they took over. It was very easy to take over the governments. You dangle technology. You dangle knowledge. You dangle ancient history. And you give them this technology in secret. Okay? You have it. We're going to give it to you. The United States of America made this mistake. So, Bob Dean, again, Mr. Dean made a reference yesterday to the missing trillions of dollars from the Federal Reserve. Okay, I have been told that it's $24 trillion is what they carry on their books. And virtually most of that has gone into the secret space program and the colonization of our solar system. You can choose to believe that or not. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't change the reality of it. Okay? So what happened was the pirates took over the ship. Okay? The governments, realizing that they had all this technology and that they were 1,000 years more advanced than we were, instead of telling everyone, hey, we have a problem here, and standing tall and doing the right thing, they joined the pirates. We are literally only now, as passengers on the ship, finding out and realizing that we've been hijacked. Okay? That's the movement. And many people are going to have a very difficult time when they realize that reality is not at all what they think it is, or what they thought it was. Even those of us who have been exposed to this for many, many years have oh shit moments. It's impossible not to, you know? Yes, our politicians sold out. It was easy to corrupt them. We have an enormous mess. They're stuck in the middle as well. Over the next year, year and a half, there's going to be so many changes. America is the focal point here. Many people that have the knowledge, that have been in black ops, special ops, that have been involved in the ET component, know about that small rogue group. And they're not gone yet. Some of them are still here. The planet Earth lives in a pyramidal power structure. Extraterrestrial civilizations no longer use that power structure, the pyramidal power structure. They have been using a holographic ever since the end of the Orion Wars, okay, which would be in our linear time about 360,000 years ago. Since then, most of the civilized, benevolent civilizations, including some of the rogue, regressive groups, and they are a minority, have been using a holographic social structure. Now, this ET component is really about us. It is our destiny to travel the stars. It is our destiny to continue to move out and colonize space, especially our own solar system. It is not our destiny to be killed by vaccines and war. You will have to make those choices. They are not going to come in here and save us or rescue us from ourselves. They're not going to do it. In our galaxy, the more advanced the civilizations have become in the center of the galaxy, the riffraff had to start moving out to the outskirts of the galaxy. The riffraff. It's just like Star Wars. Okay? We are in the boonies, and that's why we have some riffraff here. We're not the only planetary race that is having problems with the riffraff. Okay? Now, the mind technology, the mind control, the space technology, the reverse engineering, the technology that they had been given prior to the war by a small group of extraterrestrials from the star system of Aldebaran was brought here and honed and polished and combined with other technology that the Zeta 2s, the Dows, what many folks know as the Greys, all those began to complement each other. The conversation in the exopolitics community, in my personal opinion, is no longer do UFOs exist. It's completely irrelevant, okay? We already know they do. Where do they come from? That has some validity. Is it metal? That doesn't have any validity. It doesn't matter, okay? What matters is, why are they here? And what can we do to learn from this experience? There is an awful lot going on, and of course, you're all paying the bills, and no one's being told anything about it. Now, it goes far deeper than spooking the herd. That is really not the intention here at all. Okay, the intention here and what's really been going on is simply this. Bob Dean made a reference yesterday to almost feeling sorry for the government about the situation that they're in. I would have to concur with him on that, in the fact that the government made some treaties, cut some deals for technology and observation, and they were tricked. They really did not know what they were getting themselves into. And now the hand has been dealt. There are many people within the UFO community that say that all the extraterrestrials are benevolent. Ladies and gentlemen, it is in my own personal opinion and based on the knowledge that I have that that is completely irresponsible to say. If it was all love and light, we would not be going down this road to global fascism and the powers that be wanting to eliminate 2/3 of the world's population. That is not love and light. As of the last several days, much of the Cassini project has been classified. The reason for that is because of all the mothership activity that has now been filmed and documented in the Saturnian system around Saturn. We also have a 1.5 million miles off of the South Pole, a 20-mile craft that has sat and is stationary. NASA and other organizations, telescopes have been monitoring it for 8 months. They watched its trajectory to us. It is now stationary, and there are craft going in and out of this 20-mile structure. I don't know any more about it than that. I also want you to know that there is a very large planetary structure coming in, 18 degrees, right ascension of Neptune's orbit. In the next several years, you're all going to think you're living in a science fiction movie. And you are living in a science fiction movie, except it isn't a movie, it's reality. We have formed perceptions of reality that are not based in reality. They're only based on perception. Now, in accepting that perception as reality, what we do is we reinforce that illusion. And that's what we have done on Earth, is we have reinforced the illusion about who we are. About our strengths, about our power, about how we're supposed to live on the Earth, about being stuck on the Earth, about how we are supposed to raise our children. We have bought into these perceptions. It is believed that an ancient race, some of them call them the founders, other cultures call them the Patal, created not only the wormholes, but created most of the physicality in what we know as our universe. Because as they travel, they are finding civilizations and the ruins of civilizations far beyond anything that even they know. And we're talking 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th density space travelers who are traveling not only in moving in our physicality and other physicalities, but even their own. The wormholes is the best example that I've been given. No advanced space race has any idea how they were actually built, but we know that they exist. In fact, there are several that have snapped connecting our galaxy to some of the other nearby galaxies. They've snapped, and no one knows how to fix them because we don't even know how they were built. One of the things that happened, and this has been documented through the great work that Dr. Stephen Greer has done with the Disclosure Project, is that most of the extraterrestrial knowledge and technology and exchange of technology went black 3 weeks after Eisenhower knew about it. So he didn't even know where it was. And this has been confirmed by one of his chief of staff, a brigadier general. It's Langdon, I believe it is. Langdon. So I don't know. But again, let's go back to Operation Paperclip. A lot of the brainwashing and mind control technology that the Germans had been given was brought over here. And they just continued operating here under different names with new passports. And ladies and gentlemen, back in 1993, I was telling everybody to throw their televisions away. I really was. Because the system we have now is crumbling, and it's going to continue to crumble. All the illusion in the world is not, and it's going to continue to crumble. All the illusion in the world is not going to keep it standing because it's run its course. It's done. So we have to create something else. And we have to, because if we don't, the powers that be will create it for us. And I guarantee you, you will not be free. You won't be free. You won't like it at all. So you see, the influence that the United States has had on the world is so more profound than any of us realize. And the disappointment is probably equal to that at this point. Okay? Because here we have, the propaganda has been communism, fascism. We have sent young men to war, lost their lives to fight communism and fascism, and in 60 years we become fascist? What's wrong with this picture? What would happen to humanity if the government were to come clean about everything that they know about everything that they know? Could humanity totally deal with it? Probably a portion of humanity could deal with it. The other portion, or portions or groups, could not maybe deal with it, at least in the very beginning, because they have constructed a reality around themselves that is based on perception that is an illusion. And to shatter that all in one swoop can be a disservice to them. The idea is to take people and give them the tools that they need so that they voluntarily begin the process of self-responsibility and voluntary introspection. The information is there, and it's been out there for 50, 60 years. We'll take the UFO community as a whole, exopolitics. More and more people are coming into this. Who's the biggest group now? It's the young people, okay, which is promising. They are, in fact, influencing their parents by having discussions at home. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? So it doesn't matter how it happens as long as it happens. This shift in consciousness here is what flips it either way. They're going to intervene, and they have been intervening in very, very subtle ways, because no one wants to live in tyranny, not now or in the future. We have become a natural resource. Very much how we've used cows. We use cows and other animals. We ourselves have become a natural resource. The younger ones are the most desirable because they're not tainted with chemical poisons in their bodies, because they're young. That's all I'm going to say.
Laura Knight Jedzik has gone into this in depth, and Rich Dolan has also written a review of her book that's very positive, and Rich has, and Alfred Weber published an article about the subject. So if you want to investigate it further, because it's actually, I just want to augment what Alex is saying here, in the sense that the point is not to give you everything out on a platter, okay? It's for you to understand what's going on. The point is to give you direction. What Alex is doing here is mentoring you, okay? He's giving you indications, and that's what our whistleblowers do, by the way. They don't tell you everything. They don't even tell us everything, but they give us the clues that we need to do the research necessary to find out the truth. And when you hit the truth, it gets you. You can tell. You know it. You want to be in denial, go right ahead. It's out there. The truth is out there. It is unbelievably out there.